For people who are not so familiar with all the changes that are happening right now, or maybe a bit higher knowledge, like what's happening in the background, also energetically, maybe astrologically, like many of you know, Sun is going through 11-year cycles. And it means that when it comes to its 11th cycle, its activity is the most intense, its solar flares are the most intense, and there was a lot of science behind it, how all these activities are influencing everything in our universe. So, for example, when it comes to society, it was much more activity, much more chaos, much more also negative events and migrations and conflict and all of that present during the last and most intense solar activities. It's not the sun that is causing that, it's the source of the universe that is again moving in, it's everything moves in cycles. And the purpose of cycles is to ascend, to spin it in upward spiral. So everything is constantly moving, the law of vibration, the principle of vibration, everything is moving, the principle of rhythm, the cause and effect, right? Everything is moving, spinning, happening all the time. And right now we are in 11th year cycle of sun's activity, which means that all the happening on this world, on this planet, in this universe, in this solar system is at its peak right now. So it means everything is very intense. And these energies affect our nervous system, it affects our brain, it affects how we are perceiving things. We may become more compulsive during this time, we may become more productive, we may start noticing more things that may be wrong, that require improvement, so there's more information coming out. You've noticed more podcasts and all of that is coming out so much faster, artificial intelligence, all of that. And you will see that in the next year and from next year forward, we'll see that things with artificial intelligence will organize so much more, and there will be a bit less chaos, and so much of new systems will come in, new financial systems will come in, more of new communities will come in and settle on the ground, where will be more knowledge and more especially organized knowledge around certain types of healings. Also certain biological healings will come in and settle slowly. It's all present already, but it's not well organized. Like, if we look at the healthcare systems, we notice they're established, they're very well organized, but they are outdated. So when we bring new systems, they're already present, but they're not so well organized yet. Because right now it's not time to be really, really organized, because there's so much of new coming in, new information, new energy, so much of new is coming in. So what's happening right now is the new energy is coming, and our job right now is to learn to organize it. That's why you may feel confused, because you don't know what to do with everything you know. You may watch an incredible podcast, you may read an incredible book, you come across so much of incredible information, and then your job is to know what to do with that. And notice, like, what is your purpose in it? For some of you, it's just studying so you can understand more. But most of you that are studying with a purpose, and you need to know what is the purpose behind it. For some of you, it may be something completely else that it's for me. Like, I'm an artist and I found a way to teach people through art, to express myself through art, through paintings. Like, you see behind me, we are in my studio, and that's what I found I found it like it called me. And through the years in the future, it will most probably change. It will lead me into the next levels of what I'm doing right now. But for the present time, I'm here. And you need to notice, where are you right now? And all this confusion that is present will settle. And you will start to see through the cracks of everything that's been kind of broken. Like, many of your beliefs around how the world is functioning has been or have been shaken very, very much. For some people that are maybe more religious, have noticed that maybe everything I've been told is not truly how it was presented to me. For some of you who have certain maybe spiritual beliefs, maybe noticing, well, some of those things are actually not helping me in any way, or maybe making me even feel more stuck, like certain beliefs maybe around money, or certain beliefs about who you think that you, maybe not who you think that you are, but you know, sometimes I find spiritual people being attached to this spiritual identity, like I need to dress this certain way, I need to talk this certain way. But then I hang with certain older people, like 80 years old or 90 years old. Sometimes, you know, we have these opportunities, and those people are looking on life very simplistically. They don't have much of beliefs that are present now, but they know the fundamentals. They know the common sense. They know the basic principles of well-lived lives, because they most probably had no opportunity to live them the way that is possible now, but they have knowledge. So it's really right now a time when we need to learn to filter everything. And filtering means that you take away what doesn't serve you anyway, like to take away what doesn't help you, to take away what is not supportive. And for that, it takes time. It takes time of confusion, it takes time of questioning, it takes time of digging deep, diving deep, and really reflecting and having conversations with others, especially those who maybe have different backgrounds. Like I am personally a very creative person, and I'm very creative, very open-minded, and therefore when I have an opportunity to talk, for example, with a certain PhD scientist, for example, I can get a completely different explanation of something that was before maybe unclear, or maybe even they have, you know, they have usually scientists, especially the ones that are very passionate about what they are doing, they often have very organized minds, and they can articulate certain things that we can maybe subtly just intuitively feel. And when we have these different types of conversations, we can then connect the dots and notice, okay, this is how I'm experiencing it, and it's truly nothing wrong with me, it's just something big is changing on the world. So it is energetically, what's happening energetically is that a lot of new energy is coming into the earth, and then it's bouncing back from the earth, and it's traveling again through your body, and it brings to the surface a lot of outdated thoughts that have been suppressed in your energy centers, they have been suppressed in your muscles, in your nervous system, through certain moments of trauma, and it's coming in. But also you will be noticing that during this time, life will be taking you to certain events where you will remember what you've suppressed. So maybe you can realize this right at this moment, that life is taking you maybe back to where you've started, or maybe to certain people from your past that have been sources of certain very unpleasant sensations. Maybe it's happening to you. If yes, don't be afraid of that. It's just an opportunity for you to notice how much you've grown and to become more mature in the way you are communicating with others. Because also maybe you've heard like just let go of certain people, but then those same people came back into your life, and it's just like noticing how much you've grown in this cycle. Will you recycle or will you ascend, right? So something interesting is also happening in our lives, in mine and Maya's life. Like many of you know, we've around 3 3 months ago, we moved to this place where we are right now. But again, we are moving to a new place. But actually, we are moving to an old place where we've started. And it's a very interesting story. So it's the place where Maya's grandma was living. The house, it's around 80 years old. It's old, but it has such a profound story. Because Maya's family, especially from her grandma family tree, those people were very, very mystical, very interesting people. She was a person who went on the field of grace, and she always found the 4-leaf flower. I don't know, I can't remember right now, but she was always finding things that nobody else could find. She had a spark of magic, like a spark of a mystic in her. And 3 weeks ago she passed away, and since that day Maya started feeling like I want to return back to that place. And it was interesting because since that moment both of us started feeling like there is something maybe unfinished there. And it's a place where we started. I've started painting there. Me and Maya started building our company there, our business, our story, this AttractPassion mission. I draw my passion story. Everything started there. And another powerful thing about this story is that, everything material holds within information, holds within memories. And this house is old, and it comes from the time when, for example, Nikola Tesla was at his peak career, Rudolf Steiner was working, Albert Einstein, and so many other incredible minds were active back at that time, because this was a time of one very strong awakening wave. It was the time when so much of new energy started coming in, and it started the shift from old age of Pisces into an age of Aquarius, as all these astrological ages are very, very long. Like they're long. They're going on for 2160 years. So something big started happening back at that time. And right now we are like in a first degree of Aquarius sign. And as those things are happening, we're tapping back into certain old energies that started back at that time but couldn't be fully initiated because the time was not right yet. So that's why many of you may be feeling like you want to study certain old philosophy, certain old texts, certain old ideas. Like just I think 2 weeks ago I came across a book of Nikola Tesla, one of the latest books, and I felt like I need to buy it, so I bought it, I read it, and it inspired me in very interesting ways. Like I got an opportunity again to look into the mind of a very interesting human being. Like many people look at these people as geniuses, like they are very incredible, but when you study them you notice these people have very different habits, very different lifestyles. He was studying all day long. He was in his lab all day long. He was doing his thing all day long. He wanted to ascend society. He wanted to do something big for society, and that made him a genius. So I've noticed, well, if each of us can discover during this time a calling, what calls you, like he experienced this calling, the connection with electricity. And through his research, he found out there is a way to get electricity from Earth, from movement of the Earth, from the movement of oceans, from waterfalls, from wind, from sunlight. Those were all his discoveries, where he noticed I could find energy from the natural activity. That was his mission then. He discovered many incredible things, but the point is, when you discover a calling, it's only a beginning of an incredible story. And that's why it's so important to tap into these old energies, because what was discovered back in the past will now be amplified to very, very powerful levels. But it can only be amplified if it's organized, right? It needs to be organized well. Like computer can only function well because everything inside it, all the chips and everything is perfectly organized. So you need to find a way how to organize your mind to such a degree that you can know how to think clearly about all the incredible ideas that you have. And then the most challenging part, how to bring them to fruition and how to create something so valuable for society with it that people will become very interested in it. You see, for example, Nikola Tesla's ideas, many of his very incredible ideas have been suppressed because the time was not ready, the time was not right yet, but he was an initiator of it. But right now the time is right. So there's many people, like many times we receive messages from people. Just some time ago, few months ago, I talked with someone who was working with free energy. And he said, I was just born like that. I wanted to fix certain motors. I was fixing certain cars into electric cars or something like that. He was doing all kinds of very, very incredible things. And he said, well, this is just natural for me. I can't do anything else. Like, I can't even talk properly. Or he was very interesting, but this is what I'm really good at. And that's what we need to find out. Like, you may suck at many things, but there's one thing that you're really good at. And you will notice if you really devote yourself to it, you will start growing faster than anything. The healing and everything you've been working on will just start happening so much faster. So my friend, don't be afraid to say yes to these things. So when we, started thinking about moving back to the place where we started and renovating the house and rebuilding things and, creating a whole new studio for myself and, changing everything, we were kind of scared first. Like, do we really want it? Is this really something we want? Like, Maya started thinking, and all the triggers and, from the neighborhood and everything, like everything, she kind of went out, she kind of went out from that place because also of certain triggers, because of certain people, because of the things that were not maybe the most harmonious for her. And now going back, it's like questioning, is it really necessary? But at the same time, something within says, you have to, there's something unfinished. There's something new that will be born there. There's something big that is happening. We both feel there's something big that can only happen through this. But it's like finding the courage to step maybe sometimes back into it, or meet back people with whom you have unfinished relationships, or do the thing that will initiate an incredible growth. Fear will hold you back because it's much easier to stay in the comfort and just dream about the things you want. But when opportunities come, whatever comes to you right now, grab it, because you don't know where it will take you. I had no idea where painting will take me, where these videos will take me. Back at 2018 when I started painting, I had no idea it will take me to where we are right now. We've shipped prints of my art and original paintings to so many different countries all around the world. Even some countries I had no idea they exist, and it just happened because we believed and we followed it. We met so many incredible people because of that. And it's only a beginning. It's only a beginning. You will see after right now we are in 2024. 2025 will be a year where maybe certain things will slow down much more. And so much of things that right now are so unclear will come to fruition. But then the next year will be years of slow but very huge change. Very huge change in financial systems, in health care systems, in how countries are really working and functioning, society. Everything will change so much. Until the year 2030, we'll see so much change that it will be almost impossible to believe that even 6 years ago, we've been where we are right now. It will be almost impossible to believe that's how much will change. But the fact is that it's changing through you, through me, through everyone who's doing this. This is small. What we're doing, like through this kind of messages, what you're doing through healings, through conversations, it's small. But on your soul level, it's everything. It may look small on the surface, like you may be following your dreams and dealing with your fears and doing something very hard, and it may be painful and hard and heavy. But on your soul level, it's exactly why you've come here. You are an ancient soul. Many of you don't know that, but everyone who's actually alive on this planet is an old soul. And for those of you who are waking up and bravely, courageously healing your old wounds, you are ancient souls. You're paving a way so other souls can later see how it's done, right? Like teaching a kid how to do something, not preaching about it, but just walking the path. That's why everything is so new for you. Everything is so unfamiliar. Everything is so confusing for you. And everything may be so exhausting for you. Like when you start a new sport, your whole body is in pain after it because it's not used to it. But then after weeks and months, you get used to it. Imagine why your soul may be so confused, because you're doing something so new. That's why you've come here, to pave a way. And you know that if you've been studying maybe the work of Dolores Cannon or any other person that's channeling information, maybe Galactic Federation, Pleiades, or whoever is the source you resonate with, you may find out that you've come here for this, right at this unique time, right? So take it easy. Things will settle. You don't need to accomplish everything in one day, but know that you've come here for this. Take a pause when you need it, step away when you need it, but then also go all in, and do the things and talk with people and heal relationships and deal with triggers. Triggers are so painful sometimes, so exhausting sometimes. But we always need to step a little bit away and recognize what part within me is not at peace with that. Because it's never someone else that is really the source of your pain. They're only activating the pain within you. But obviously, if they don't change the behavior, nothing is resolved. So it can only be done through conversations, through very deep and honest conversations. And both of you need to be mature. And if people are not willing to grow with you, then maybe it's important to move away and to walk your path. But don't be surprised if one day in the future, and this may be right now, you come back to meet these people just to see if now you're able to treat them differently. Never say, oh, they never changed or they didn't change. See what part of you don't see the change, or see what part of you is still being triggered and why. And of course, if you don't see progress, walk your path. You don't need them. But at the same time, they are a blessing because they're showing you something you had no idea you still have unresolved within you. This may be anything. For some of you, it may be related to finances. For some of you, those may be family members. For some of you, it's something related to your hobbies. And for some of you, it may be something related to your dream, to your passion project. Never finding time for it, right? When will you learn? When will you learn, my friend? So that's it for now. I hope you found something valuable. And stay tuned. Find moments of connection in your day so you can find the remedy for confusion, which is clarity and inner peace. Always prioritize that in at least certain moments of your day. My friends, till next time, much love.